Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam semua. So pada malam ni kita akan sambung dengan kelas chemistry kita yang akan dikendalikan oleh mentors kita dari SBPI Gombak ataupun Intergom. So sebelum kita mulakan kelas, kita baca doa dululah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma ftah alaina hikmataka wa anshur alaina min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbana shrah lana sudurana wa yassir lana umurana wahlul 'uqdatam min alsinatina yafqahu aqwalana. Allahumma arzuqna fahman nabiyyin wa hifdzal mursalin wa ilhamal malaikatil muqarrabin bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Okay, so tanpa mengengahkan masa lagi, saya menjemput kedua-dua mentors kita untuk memulakan kelas. Dipersilakan.
So, Assalamualaikum and good night everyone. So, my name is Amalia Hasha. I'm from Intergom and my friend here.
Hasha, buka mic kat Google Meet.
Wait. Buka mic kat Google Meet.
Sorry. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amalia Hasha. I'm from Intergom and I'm here with my friend tonight, Arisha Sophie. Okay. So first of all, before kita jawab soalan-soalan yang kita orang dah prepare, okay, I want to revise macam mana or the easier way for you to remember insoluble and soluble salts. For us, kita orang hafal based on diagram. So, kita orang panggil this one. Daniel, ada slide tak? Okay, so this is what we call kolam garam. Kolam garam ataupun salt pool. Okay, so kat sini I dah simplify. Okay, kotak yang besar ni, this one is kolam, which means dalam kolam kan ada air. So every salt yang duduk dalam kolam ni is soluble salts, while salt yang duduk dekat luar kolam adalah insoluble salt. So, tapi ada 3 garam yang memang dia tak kisah dia sulfate ke, carbonate ke, apa-apa ke, dia memang soluble, which is spar salt or garam anak in Malay. Okay, so spar salt ni is S stand for sodium, P stand for potassium and A is ammonia. Okay, kalau garam in bahasa Melayu, I think ammonia, natrium dengan kalium. Okay, so let's look here at the diagram. Okay, so nitrate salt ni, for nitrate salt, dia memang akan duduk dalam kolam tu sebab semua nitrate salt is soluble salt. Okay, so next is carbonate salt. Okay, carbonate salt dia lain sikit sebab semua carbonate salt is insoluble, tapi kan ada 3 salt yang memang soluble, which is spar. So semua carbonate salt is insoluble except spar ni. Okay, next sulfate salt. Okay, so semua sulfate salt is soluble kecuali 3 ni. Okay, kita orang macam ada buat akronim untuk 3 salt yang insoluble untuk sulfate, which is pantai cahaya bulan. So, pantai cahaya bulan tu stands for lead, kalsium dengan barium. Bawah ni, I ada tulis how you nak ingat all the salts. So, nanti bila Daniel share dalam channel, you boleh baca. Okay, so next is chloride. Chloride salt ada semua soluble except 2 je, which is kita panggil Pak Ali. Pak Ali stands for lead dengan silver. Okay. So this bawahnya ada tulis how you nak remember all these things. So nanti you boleh baca. That's all. So now I bagi Sophie untuk start with questions sebab I guess kita semua dah macam before this pun ada kelas pasal chemistry juga yang dah ajar pasal salt. So I hope everyone macam dah ready. So kita terus je jawab soalan. But at the same time kita orang akan revise balik.
Okay, so I'm going to proceed with my presentation. So kat sini, Hasha boleh tolong mute tak? Okay, so now I'm going to proceed with my own presentation. So kat sini, Give me a second. Okay. Boleh nampak tak? Boleh. Okay. So today kita akan buat kertas PAT Kelantan. So first question ni senang je. Dia kata state the type of bond that consists in compound X. So compound X ni kita tahu that is a covalent bond. So letak di sini covalent bond. Okay, so if you guys don't know, covalent bond ni basically they form when non-metal atoms share their electrons to achieve a stable duplet or di-electron arrangement. So kat bawah ni pula nak tahu name the two main elements that make up compound X. So kat sini kita tahu kat sini elements dia ada hydrogen dengan oxygen. So we just straight away tulis kat sini hydrogen and oxygen. So kalau korang tak nak tulis macam panjang-panjang macam just letak macam ni. H2 or NO2 sebab dia marker. So kat sini kalau nak tahu covalent bondnya ni, this is a single bond where they share one pair of electron. When I say one pair, maksudnya macam contohlah yang ni kan. Okay, macam ni. So like they share only like they share only a pair. Yes, like that. So that means the single bond, they share one pair of electrons. So kat sini, bawah ni, based on diagram 1, state the information that can be deduced qualitatively and quantitatively from the chemical equation model. So kat sini, let's look at here. Okay, let me erase this quickly. So, kita buat equation dulu. So kat sini, ada dua hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water. Okay, kenapa tak dua kat depan water ni? Sebab kalau tengok kat sini dia 2 H2. So 2 times 2 4, kat sini 2 times 2 pun 4. And 2 times O, which is oxygen, is 2. So balance lah dengan sebelah ni. Okay. So kat sini kita akan tengok, bila dia kata, okay, so for tips for this question, sebab ramai sangat salah, even time pasal hari tu ada soalan ni. So, kalau kualitatif, okay, I'm just going to say it sebab takut buang masa. Kalau quantitatively, kita tengok kat sini, dia sebut quantitatively. So just ingat bila sebut quantity, dia sebut 1 mole of that reacts with 1 mole of that to form 2 mole of this. So kat sini kita just terus straight up tulis quantitative dia. Alamak. Oh no. Kita tak apa kita sebut soalan ni. Nanti I'll give a real schema. So kat sini, just letak kalau buat dua-dua pun boleh juga. Tapi nak skema dia buat quantitative. So kalau nak buat quantitative, method. Okay, hydrogen and oxygen is the reactant. And water is the product. Water ataupun H2O pun boleh. Okay. So quantitative pula. Okay, tadi kan kita dapat 2 mole of hydrogen. Reacts with 1 mole of oxygen to produce 2 mole of water.
Sophie, I think yang atas tu
Tak dengar. Hello. Apa Aisyah?
yang atas is qualitative.
Sorry. Okay, qualitative method, quantitative. Qualitative. Bawah ni qualitative. Okay, sorry. So kat quantity lah. Sekejap. Quantitative. Okay. So kat sini next question. What type of particles make up compound P? So kat sini, nampak tak kat sini dia ada plus kat sini. So bila plus, dia release one electron. Kat sini pun dia release one electron. Sebab tu lah kat sini dia 2 minus, which is dia receive 2 electron. So kat sini dia transfer 1 electron. Kat sini pun sama. Transfer 1 electron. Kat sini dia receive 2 electron. Okay. So kat sini, bila dia transfer 1 electron, so kat sini dia punya initial electron arrangement dia 281. For this one, initial electron arrangement dia 28. For this one also 281. So kat sini, first question, what type of particles make up compound P? So bila kita tanya pasal type of particles, just ingat dia nak cakap pasal atom, ion and also molecule. So kat sini, type of particles that make up compound P is ion. So kat sini, dia kata name the force formed between X and Y. So when we see this kind of questions, obviously the answer is electrostatic force. Okay. So third question, what are the electron arrangement of atom X? So dia kata atom X ni dia 281. Sebab kita dah buat tadi. Okay. So next question. Explain why compound P can conduct electric current in the molten or aqueous state but cannot conduct electric current in the solid state. So kat sini, bila cakap pasal electric current, kita akan cakap pasal ion still move freely or not. So kat sini, compound, kita jawab macam ni. Compound P can conduct electric current. In molten or aqueous state. Because ions can move freely. But cannot in solid state. Because ions cannot move freely. Sebabkan dia solid. Okay. So next question. Diagram T shows the observation when 0.01 mole m cubic. So the solution I decided into copper to sulfate solution. So kat sini, bila kita nampak ada copper to sulfate, kita boleh ingat macam ni. Sebab kat sini ada boleh precipitate. So bila minta copper to sulfate kat sini, dia punya precipitate dia mesti ada copper to ion. Copper to plus lah, copper to plus ion. So yang ni water. So basically kat sini, cara I ingat dia punya color of garam is I do this. Wait, let me show. So so yang ni skema yang saya dah buat. So how do I ingat garam? Is I draw this where this birds is CuO, which is black solid, or in exam my teacher asked me to write it like this, black wine hot and black wine cold. So kat sini ada gunung. So gunung kat sini ada matahari kan. So matahari ni dia yellow wine hot, white wine cold. Lepas tu matahari ni also is a zinc oxide. So dia punya gunung ni is lead oxide, which is brown wine hot, yellow wine cold. So untuk pokok ni pula kan ada, pokok kan ada dia punya kayu dia kan warna brown. So brown dia ferrum 3+, kalau dia punya daun-daun dia ferrum 2+. Lepas tu yang ni pula sungai ni Cu2+, blue. Okay. Senang je kan? So kat sini, right, dia kata what is the chemical formula for copper to sulfate? Copper to sulfate is my god. Okay. Property sulfate is CuSO4. So bila silang charge dia memang dapat CuSO4. So name the ions present in the blue precipitate. So tak payah tak copper sulfate, just letak Cu2+. Sebab dia minta kat precipitate tu. Okay. Next question. Determine the pH value of sodium hydroxide is used. So for this we use this one. POH sama dengan negative log bracket, tadi dah bagi 0.01. So POH dia ialah 2. So in akali kita nak akali kan ada 14. Yang macam asid dengan akali punya nombor tu kan. So pH dia ialah 14 tolak 2 dapat 12. So kat sini kata, what will happen to the pH value if the concentration of the hydroxide ion in the sodium hydroxide solution is increased? So let me do a little note here. The higher.
Sophie,
Yes.
boleh sikitkan iPad tu?
Huh?
Landscapekan iPad tu.
Okay. Nampak tak? Okay. So the higher the hydrogen ion, the lower the pH value. So kalau hydroxide pula, the higher the hydroxide ion, the higher the pH value. So in kat integral ni, cikgu kita ajar macam nak korang kat tangan kanan, lepas tu korang turun ke tangan kiri. So the higher the hydrogen ion, the lower the pH value. So that senang nak ingat kat exam. So kat sini, sekejap ni. Bring this down. Ni sekejap. Ya dapat dosa. Okay. So kat sini, dia kata what will happen to the pH value if the concentration of hydroxide ion in the sodium hydroxide solution is increased. So kan dah higher the hydroxide ion, dah higher the pH value. So the pH value will increase. Just dapat the pH value will increase je dah cukup rasanya. Tapi kalau nak add because the concentration of hydroxide ion, because the higher the concentration of hydroxide ion, the higher the pH value pun boleh. Tapi kat sini sebab satu markah je, so it's fine. Okay. So for this question, kita pasal atomic structure. So kat sini, kan, kat sini kan dia elektron. Kalau S ni kan dia elektron. So elektron dan proton kan sama. Proton is sama elektron. So kat sini, yang ni kira T ni proton. Sebab dalam nukleus ada proton dengan neutron. So S ni elektron, R ni ialah neutron.
Sorry.
Okay, so kat sini tanya, name the particles are empty. So kat sini R tadi jawapan dia neutron. Kalau T proton. Write the standard representation for the atom M. So tadi kalau standard representation ni, tadi kan nak minta atom M. So kita letak macam ni. Atas dia macam ni. Bawah dia proton number. Ingat je, kalau nak set representation ni, ingat bawah dia proton number je. Okay. Lepas tu C pula, element M burns completely with a yellow flame in excess oxygen gas. Write the chemical equation for the combustion of element M. So kat sini, dia minta combustion of element M. So kat sini aku tak saya tahu. Atau boleh refer modul nilam. So kat sini 4M, I'm just going to write 4M. Tambah oxygen sama dengan M2O. So determine the volume of oxygen gas required to ensure that 0.5 mole of element M burns completely. So this one in our school, we learn it as, we call it MRU. So M ini equation, M ni mole, R ni ratio, Ini answer. Sekejap. Okay. Sekejap. Equation, mol, ratio, answer. Lepas tu U ni, sekejap. U ni unit. Unit kan wajib. Okay, so kita rewrite balik equation so that tak confuse. So kat sini buat garis sambung yang apa yang cikgu kita orang ajar. Sebab dia kan minta between dia kan minta determine the volume of oxygen gas required to ensure that 0.5 mole of element M burns completely. So kat atas tu tulis lah 0. Kata kat sini. Okay, so dia bagi mole dia. Mole dia 0.5. Kita buat je lah ratio. Kita selalu buat kotak. Alamak. Okay. Kita selalu buat kotak macam ni lah. So ugly. Sekejap, kita buat. Okay, kita akan buat ratio macam ni. Okay. Lepas tu, letak M, O2. Sekejap ni. Letak M, O2. Lepas tu letak mol dia. Tak kasih kadum. Yang ni letak kat atas ni 4 mol dulu. Lepas tu saya letak 1 mol. Lepas tu dah bagi mol kan 0.5. So kalau siapa yang bahagi 4 sebab nak cari 1 mol berapa. So bagi 4 dapat 0.125. So dia kata dia nak volume of oxygen gas. So kasih ke darab dengan molar volume of gas tu. Dia ambil kat sini which is 24. So 0.125 darab dengan 24 dapat 3 dm cubic. Okay, ni unit wajib. Okay, next question. Okay, kat sini, okay, this is soalan empirical formula. So, kat sini bagi the mass of copper metal oxide before reacting with hydrogen, which is 5. Kita kat sini 4. So, kat sini dia minta, what is the colour of copper metal oxide? So usually jawapan dia kan orang jawab black kan. Tapi ni my teacher dia ajar macam ni. CuO is black. So kat sini tulis black when hot, black when cold. Okay, so kat bawah ni, based on table 5, determine the empirical formula for copper metal oxide. So kat sini, our teacher ajar buat macam ni. 3 column and 5 row. So that kita tahu yang, ya Allah. Sekejap. Black and cold. So kat sini pula, kita buat macam ni. Kan 3 column 5 row. So buat 3 column. Buat 3 column. Okay, 3 column and 5 row. Sumpah. Okay. So, kat sini letak elemen. Sekejap, tuliskan kecil tulisan. Elemen, mass, number of mole, simplest ratio. Okay, kat sini, I akan buat equation so that nampak lagi nampak. So kat sini dia kata, nak tahu kan, nak kira mana yang copper, mana oxide. So letaklah macam ni. CuO campur dengan hydrogen dapat Cu plus water. Okay. Cu plus water. So kat sini, Cu dia kata kat sini. Okay. The mass of copper metal oxide before reacting with hydrogen. Terah. So kat sini the mass of copper metal oxide before reacting with hydrogen is 5.0. So kat sini, dia kata the remaining mass of the reaction is 4.0. So kat sini, copper dia 4.0. So kita nak tahu mana copper, mana oxide. So kat sini, 5.0 tolak 4.0. So oxide dapat 1.0. 1.0. So nak tahu copper tu berapa? 5.0 tolak 1.0. Dapat 4.0. So kat sini 4.0. Lepas tu nak kira number of mole, mass bahagi molar mass. So kat sini dia letak 4.0 divide by 64, which is this one, dia dah bagi. Dapat 0.0625. For oxygen, for oxide pula, dia kata 1.0 bahagi dengan 16, dapat 0.0625 juga. So kat sini mole ratio dia just 0.0625 divide by 0.0625 sebab kena bahagi yang paling kecil. Lepas tu tapi yang ni sebab dua-dua sama, so bagi je lah. Dapat 1. Yang ni pun sama juga, dapat 1. Sama dengan to write it here, 1. So kat sini dia punya empirical formula dia ialah Cu. Oh, sebabkan dia 1. Okay, Cu. So next question. How can you ensure that all the copper metal oxide has completely reacted with hydrogen gas at the end of the reaction? So ni jawapan ni tak lain. Memang skema, memang sekali bini macam pada ni je. Tengok. Okay. Heating, cooling, and weighing are repeated to get constant mass. So kalau bawah ni, can the method stated in 5 be used to determine the empirical formula of magnesium oxide? So eksperimen magnesium oxide ni tak sama. Dia takkan melalui hydrogen gas, passing dry hydrogen gas ni. So magnesium itself is more reactive than hydrogen. If you remember in Form 2 we learned that yang pasal macam, please stop calling me a cute zebra, yang potassium, please stop, sodium, blah 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 sampai ke bawah. Dan hydrogen kat tengah-tengah ni. Lepas tu magnesium lagi reaktif daripada hydrogen. Just call me cute zebra. Okay lah. So kat sini, jawapan dia no. Because magnesium is more reactive than hydrogen in the reactivity series. Sebab macam hydrogen kat bawah, magnesium kat atas. So, buat ini pula. Okay. Like I said, it shows the reaction of water to experiment, blah blah. So kat sini ada nitric acid, copper to oxide. Kat bawah ni ada nitric acid, copper to oxide. So kat sini if we nampak, kat sini temperature lain. So basically kat rate of reaction ni ada 4 je faktor yang cause the rate of reaction is concentration, temperature, size and catalyst. So dalam soalan ni dia buat pasal temperature. So dia kata state the name and colour of solution Y. So solution Y ni blue in colour sebab dia copper to oxide. Copper kan memang blue, so memang dia blue in colour. So kat sini jawapan dia copper to nitrate and the colour is blue. Okay, so before all of that, we're going to do a little note kat sini. So kat sini kita just buat equation terus sebab takut nanti apa-apa. So kat sini dia copper to oxide reacts with 2 mole of nitric acid. produces copper to nitrate. Copper to nitrate plus water. Kat sini dia kata write a chemical equation to represent the reaction inside one. Sama je tadi. So tulis balik. Copper to oxide plus 2 mole of nitric acid. So usually I'll write the equation dekat soalan itself. Takut nanti soalan tanya macam ni, senang je, just rewrite balik. Okay, so kat sini dia kata calculate the average rate of reaction. So untuk calculate the overall average rate of reaction ni, just mass bahagi dengan dia punya time. So kat sini just buat macam ni. 5.0 divide by 50 dapat 0.1 gram second negative 1. So kat sini, let me do a little note here. So kalau units in rate of reaction, ada G minute negative 1, ada G second negative 1, ada mole minute negative 1, ada mole second negative 1, cm cubic minute negative 1, and also cm cubic second negative 1. So bawah ni dia minta set 2. So set 2 ni ada 5.0 grams of copper to oxide powder and also 3.0 gram of copper to oxide. So basically dia tak larut sampai habis lah kan. Tapi tak larut, kita kena tolak lah. So kat sini 5.0 minus with 3.0 divide with the same time which is 50 second dapat 0.04 gram second negative 1. So let's do a little note here. Factors affecting rate of reaction. So first concentration, second temperature, third size, fourth is catalyst. So concentration ni, the higher the concentration, the higher the rate of reaction. Temperature pun the higher the temperature, the higher rate of reaction. Size lagi kecil, lagi senang rate of reaction tu nak berlaku. Kalau catalyst ni pula, dalam bahasa Melayu kita panggil as pemangking. So catalyst ni, dia akan provide an alternative pathway so that the rate of reaction tu lagi senang nak berlaku. So lagi laju lah kiranya. So compare the response rates of set 1 and set 2. So kat sini, dia minta respon between set 1 and set 2. So kat sini, sebabkan temperature dia lagi tinggi dekat set 1, so the rate of reaction in set 1 is higher than set 2. Kita boleh check kat sini. In set 1. Set 2. So kat sini kata explain your answer. So bila minta explain, kita kena cakap pasal ni. Bila pasal temperature, okay. Bila temperature, kita kena cakap pasal kinetic energy of the particles. So kat sini jawapan dia because the temperature in set 1 is higher than set 2. So the kinetic energy of particles in set 1 is higher than set 2. Basically rate of reaction ni dia nak compare pasal which is higher, which is lower. Lepas tu kalau untuk yang alternative pathway tu kena cakap lah. Nanti Hasha akan ajar yang tu. is higher than Z2. Oh my god. Wait. Bismillah. Mana ada sama. Tak perlu sama je lah. Kita bagi skema betul-betul. So kat sini, tadi kita cakap kan, the kinetic energy of particle Z1 is higher than Z2. So sama untuk yang ni terus. So kat sini, dia minta what is another name for group 17 in the periodic table of elements. So untuk group 17, the another name is halogens. So it exists in diatomic molecules. Contoh diatomic molecule, macam ni. Diatomic molecules macam Cl2 ke, R2 ke. Yang ni diatomic molecules. So kat sini, in which period is element X placed? So kat sini, it is placed in period 2. Okay. So kat sini, compare the reactivity of the two elements with sodium hydroxide. Okay, so kat sini, element X, wait, let me teach first. Okay, kat sini, dia punya elektron dengan nukleus ni jauh tau. So dia punya attraction lagi weaker. So kat sini dia weaker. So kalau kat sini pula, dekat je kan. So kat sini dia stronger. So kat sini boleh cakap nuclear attraction is stronger. Okay. Oh, but and also when you want to write apa-apa jawapan, perkataan atom itu wajib. Kalau tak auto semua jawapan salah. Okay, kat sini elemen X. Okay. Element X is more reactive than element Y. Okay, kat sini bila dia kata compare the reactivity, kita kena cakap elements apa yang more and less reactive. Kalau AC 5 markah dan baru S3. So dia kata explain your answer. Ni macam soalan AC lah, tapi kalau soalan AC dia 5 markah. So kat sini boleh cakap, okay, kalau kat sini kita nak ajar macam ni. Point 1, compare size of atom. Kalau point 2 pula, compare the nuclear attraction. Compare the nuclear attraction. Macam which one is stronger lah. Good. So kalau kat sini point 3 pula, which atom is easy to receive electron. Okay, so kat sini just tulis the atomic size of atom X is smaller than atom Y. Sebab dia kecil. Kalau tak dalam gambar tu memang dia kecil. So, point 2, the nuclear attraction between nucleus to the, I'm just gonna write like this, valence electron in atom X is stronger than atom Y. Sebab apa? Sebab tadi kan cakap yang dia punya elektron dia dengan antara elektron dengan nukleus, dia punya kat S lagi kuat. Sebabkan dia dekat. So thus atom X is easy to receive electron. So kalau exam kena buat betul-betul lah. Jangan buat short form macam ni. Receive electron dan atom Y. So dia suruh explain tu. Dia cakap. Okay. Sini pula. Tuliskan persamaan kimia bagi tindakan balas antara unsur X dengan natrium hydroxide. So kat sini, atom X ni sebenarnya Cl2 tau. Kalau nak buat Cl2 pun boleh, tapi usually kan, dalam exam saya buat macam ni je. X2 campur 2 sodium hydroxide jadi sodium X plus NaOX. Ni dalam modul kimia ada dan buku teks pun ada. Kalau nak gantikan X ni dengan Cl pun boleh. Okay. So kat sini, silicon and germanium are mandatory elements that are widely used in the microelectronics industry. Both elements have their own advantages and disadvantages. A laptop manufacturing company prefers to use silicon as the main material in the production of their microchips. Justify the use of silicon as a microchip in laptops. So kat sini, bila dia guna silicon, mestilah dia can withstand high heat. So kat sini, just think of simple things je. So kat sini, I'm just going to write silicon can withstand or resist. Tak ada lah, kena buat withstand je. Withstand high heat. Thus, computer can be used a long time. Sebab dia makan, cakap lah kenapa. Okay, next question. Jadi pasal alloy. So kat sini, cakap pasal alloy yang pure metal and also yang ada percentage of other metal. So kat sini 18K ni more suitable jewelry lah kalau nak buat gelang. Sebab kat sini dia ada percentage of other metal. Oh my god. Sekejap. So kat sini kata what is meant by alloy. So yang ni memang kena hafal, memang tak ada tips. Okay, kat sini. Okay. So jawapan dia, an alloy is a mixture of two or more elements which is the major component is pure metal. So memang major component dia is pure metal lah. So kat sini, sekejap, let me show you my other schema. Nak I buat sendiri. Sekejap. Okay. Okay, kat sini. Kat sini, I cakap yang 18K ni dia more suitable for jewelry sebab ada metal disrupt pure metal. When I say ada metal disrupt pure metal, kat ni, contoh ni. So kat sini, ada metal dia warna biru tu. Lepas tu kat sini ada pure gold. So lagi berkualiti lah. Gelang emas tak cepat longgar and can be used at a long time. So bila dia kata which gold is more suitable for making jewelry is 18K gold. Sebab kat sini, dia punya percentage ada metal 25. So kat sini dia akan disrupt. Let's say if you ambil emas tulen, which is yang memang betul-betul emas. Ni sebenarnya emas yang dalam petak, macam bentuk petak and orang selalu beli sebab dia nak simpan buat investment or something. Dia buy this pure gold. Sebab kat sini tak ada, dia bukan nak buat jewelry ke apa. Sebab tu lah orang selalu beli dengan 18K ni sebab other metal tu akan disrupt it so that dia punya bond dalam tu lagi kuat. Sebab tu lah untuk gold ni, kita cakap 18K gold ni dia lagi sesuai untuk buat jewelry. So kat sini because the other metal impurities are different in size. Thus the other metal disrupt gold atom. When forces apart, the atoms are not easily to slide. So kat sini I'm not going to write sebab ini I want to show this sekali jalan. Sebab kan dia lagi berkualiti. So gelang emas tak cepat longgar and can be used at a long time. So bila dia, oh my god, sekejap. Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, so kat sini, the other metal is sharp gold atom and forces apart, the atoms are not easy to slide. So dia tak senang nak longgar. So maksudnya kalau beli yang betul-betul emas, dia kat gelang kita, kat tangan kita kan, dia akan cepat gila nak jatuh. Sebab tu orang akan beli yang 18K kot. Okay, so kita pergi next soalan lah kat sini. Okay, kat sini, we still in our life topic. So, kat sini dia kata, bahan X ni apa, dia tak bagi bahan X kan, tak bagi kita F-gas juga. So kat sini, kita nak tahu bahan X tu apa.
Okay, I'm so sorry. But time 15, my turn
Apa?
Time 15, my turn pula.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so kita, sebab nak cepat, kita hantar, kita buat daripada sini je. Okay. So kat sini, kita akan just tak buat daripada sini. So kat sini, alamak. Check, cuba tak open. Sumpah sorry. Sekejap. Okay. Sekejap. Okay. Kita akan terus buat yang ni. Nanti I'll send this to the group. So kat sini, dia minta soda lime glass. Dia kata kat sini, gas P ialah soda lime glass. Sebab kat sini, how do I remember? I'll just ingat soda lime. So bila ada soalan yang cakap macam pasal jug ni, I'm just going to tell, oh, yang ni jug. So kat jug ni kita boleh buat lime juice. So dia tak dalam jug. So sebab tu lah I ingat yang ni ialah soda lime glass. If it gives the kind of question lah. Lepas tu, kalau Q ni pula, dia ingat lah, kan dia kata kat sini decorative glass. So I remember like it's like crystal glass. Sebab crystal tu macam untuk kita buat hiasan kat rumah. Lepas tu, kat sini juga cakap prism kan. So prism kan, akan imagine macam I buat prism tu pakai crystal. So macam I ingat. So ni like crystal glass. So kat sini, bahan X dia silika. Sebab kat sini kalau tak kat buku teks pun memang so dalam kat sini bahan X dia silika. Untuk like crystal glass pun sama. So glass P yang kita tahu dah tadi. So next question. Okay. So kat sini, minta diagram 8.3 shows a conversation between Ellie and her mother about using a glass container to store freshly baked cookies. So kan soalan macam ni just simple je, tak payah fikir logik. Kena fikir logik. Kalau so macam usually soalan macam ada yang agree and disagree, tapi usually I put agree. Sebab the glass is heavy, thus it is not easy for the child to carry the glass. Okay. So next question. So I'm going to pass it to Asha. And then soalan sebenarnya nanti I akan hantar dalam group. Okay. Asha, your turn.
Okay. Dah ke Daniel? Yeah, I hope dah. Okay. So, we will baca soalan dulu. Kata diagram 10.1 shows a conversation between a doctor and Mr. Zul. Okay, so apa doktor ni cakap? Dia suruh chew the antacid tablet. I'll give you letters so your stomach ache will go away soon. Okay. So, kita highlightkan apa yang I buat. I always highlight important things in every questions. So, here I highlightkan chew. Okay. And then kita baca soalan bawah dia. Dia kata, referring to the conversation in diagram 10.1 based on the concept of ROR. Okay, itu pun highlight juga. What factors? Factors pun highlight affected the reduction in Mr. Zul's pain and explain how these factors influence the reduction in Mr. Zul's pain. Okay, this will explain. Okay, first of all, okay, tablet. Okay, you imagine tablet, Panadol. Okay, dia bentuk bulat kan? So, apa function doktor ni suruh kita kunyah benda tu? Konsep dia ROR kan? So, dia ada 3 je. You boleh kaitkan sama ada size, temperature, concentration, or catalyst kan? Okay. Tapi dalam konteks soalan ni, semua ni tak logik kecuali size kan? Sebab bila you kunyah that tablet, dia akan break down to smaller size kan? Okay, so obviously the factor is size. So soalan ni 4 markah. So how to answer? First, you jawab first question dia. Dia tanya apa factor. So you tulis the factor is the size of the tablet. Right. Okay, so kita dah answer first question. So kita dapat 1 markah dekat sini sebab kita dah state what factor. Okay, next. Dia suruh kita explain. Kan kita dah belajar 5 rukun in ROR kan? Okay. So kita bagi tahu kalau size kecil, what happen? Okay. So kita tahu bila kita cakap dulu when kita chew the tablet, so dia akan break down into smaller pieces.
Hasha, sorry tadi yang rukun tu 4 rukun.
Oh ya, yeah. Okay. 4 rukun. Okay. Two smaller pieces. Sorry. Okay. So next, okay, kita dah bagi tahu bila kita kunyah benda tu dia akan jadi. So now, markah ketiga kita cakap, okay, apa yang size tu buat? Kenapa size ni affect reaction ubat tu? Sebab the total surface area. Okay. So kalau total surface area exposed to reaction is larger, so what happened? The rate of reaction dia higher. Okay, so kita tulis that's for the 4th marks. Ataupun kita cakap increase lah. Okay. Okay, so sebenarnya kita dah dapat 4 markah if we say like this. Tapi apa-apa ni cikgu kita orang ajar, apa-apa soalan yang macam ni, it's better if you add conclusion. So kalau macam ni, bila rate of reaction increase, apa jadi dekat Mr. Zul ni? So dia kan tengah mengalami sakit perut kan? Okay. So kita cakap lah the pain will be reduced in a shorter time. Alright, so kita ada 5 points, tak apa. point yang kelima tu kira bonus ataupun you macam nak berhati-hati takut point atas-atas you tak dapat markah. Okay. Tu je. Okay, next question. Okay, ni soalan senang sebab memang hari tu PDA pun keluar, so I guess semua orang macam dah tahu, but tak apa, kita jawab je, okay? Okay, so first, apa yang I buat, I cakap kita baca soalan and then kita highlight kan, okay? So, kita baca, dia kata diagram 10.2 shows observations recorded in an experiment studying factors that affect rate of reaction. So, the change in mass shown in the change in mass of the zinc used. Okay, so kita highlight dulu dekat set 1 ni. Apa yang kita nak tengok, of course, dia punya volume, dia punya mole, dia punya mass kalau dia bagi. Ikut apa yang dia bagi. So kat sini dia bagi volume. So kita highlightkan volume dia. Volume kat sini untuk for set 1 is 25 cm cubic. Mole dia pula 1.0 mole. Okay. Next, set 2. Okay, volume sama tapi concentration lain kan. Okay, the moment you nampak any difference, you terus tulis. Okay. So macam apa beza set 1 dengan set 2 ni is the concentration kan. So you tulis kat sini. Wait. Okay, so you tulis kat sini, this ada higher concentration. Okay. Higher concentration, right. Okay. Oh, time also. Time dia pun berbeza. Okay. Next untuk set 3. Okay, volume dia sama dengan set 1. Concentration pun sama. So what's the difference is, okay, dia ada, yes, catalyst. Copper to sulfate is a catalyst in this context, okay. 5 drops of copper to sulfate. And masa dia ambil untuk react is 50 seconds. Okay, now kita tengok soalan. Soalan nak apa? Okay. I terus pergi, sebab yang ni only 3 markah, I guess semua orang dah tahu how to calculate. So I will skip the calculation part. Okay. Here dia cakap compare the rate of reaction between, first question dia nak kata pasal set 1 and set 2. Okay, bila you dah highlight dekat sini, okay, bila you dah highlight and you dah tulis all the information, so it will be easier for you to answer the question. Okay. So I will write it down here. This for set 1 and set 2, right? Set 1 and set 2. Okay, for the first point, kita kena compare. Everyone tahu kan 5 rukun tu? First, kita akan compare between set 1 and set 2. Compare the apa benda yang berbeza lah. So, the different tadi is the concentration. So, kita tulis the concentration of, I tulis short form je, tapi dalam exam ni jangan tulis short form lah. The concentration of what acid lah? Okay, sulfuric acid. In set 2 is higher than set 1. Obviously lah. Okay, so next, lepas sudah bagi tahu ni, okay, you kena cakap, okay, disebabkan concentration yang berbeza, okay, apa yang, kalau higher concentration, apa yang higher concentration tu buat? Apa yang affect benda rate of reaction ni? So macam kita tahu kalau concentration, dia nak cakap pasal number of particles kan? Okay, so kita cakap the number of particles per unit volume in set apa? Sorry. Per unit volume in set 2 is higher than set 1. This one is so easy. So I think I'll go fast lah. Is higher than set 1. Okay, after that kita akan cakap pasal the frequency of collision. So the frequency of collision between, okay, right here. Okay. So kalau you jawab macam ni je dalam exam, you dapat kosong untuk frequency of collision, and also bawah-bawah tu pun akan affect. Okay, kenapa? Sebab you tak boleh cakap dia frequency of collision between particles in blah 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 is higher than blah blah blah. Sebab you kena mention particles apa yang collide tu. Okay, so here macam I think everyone dah tahu apa benda yang collide. Okay, so dia between zinc atom and hydrogen ion. Tulislah mana-mana dulu boleh je. Hydrogen ion and zinc atom. In set 1, in set 2 is higher than set 1. Okay, so bila you dah mention particles apa yang dah collide dekat atas tu, so you tak payah mention dah dekat frequency of effective collision tu, alright? So you just tulis the frequency of effective collision. Now you boleh cakap between particles je. Okay. Between particles. I tulis macam ni je. I hope you guys understand. Alright, so dah set. No. One last point is dia cakap pasal rate of reaction. So the rate of reaction in set 2 is higher than set 1. Okay, so dekat sini you dah dapat 5 marks. Okay, 2 for first question. Okay, ni for set 1 and set 2. Next, for set 2 and set 3. So I think you guys dah boleh nampak what's the factor. The factor is catalyst. Okay, so yang ni I think everyone dah tahu. So I just simplifykan je lah. Set 2 and set 3. Sorry for my bad writing. Okay, so first you compare factor. So apa yang basic kat sini, you just cakap set 3 has the presence of catalyst, while set 2 does not have the presence of catalyst. That's all. Okay. Tak adalah bad mana. Okay. So you just cakap, I'm sorry. Okay. Set 3 has the presence of catalyst, while set 2 Alright. So this one is so easy. So, okay, kalau size today, okay. Okay, so kalau concentration, kita cakap pasal number of particles per unit volume. So for catalyst, kita akan cakap pasal alternative pathway kan. Dia provide alternative pathway. Okay, so kalau I cakap macam ni je, I think you guys dapat the point, right? Okay, so I just tulis kat sini kita cakap pasal alternative pathway. Okay, so ada ke some of you yang tak tahu what is activation energy? Kalau you tak tahu, I explain. Okay, nanti jawab je kat sini. So I proceed dulu. Oh my god. Okay. So next, okay, for catalyst, kita tak ada pasal, okay, kalau catalyst kita tak cakap pasal frequency of collision sebab kita akan terus cakap pasal effective collision. Okay, sebab dia ada hubung kait dengan activation energy. Okay. So untuk catalyst ni ada 4 poin sahaja. Okay. So you terus cakap pasal the frequency of effective collision. Okay, last kali kita cakap pasal ROR, the rate of reaction lah. Okay. Pakai nanti nama. I'm sorry, siapa ni? Azim, what was the question? Okay, tak apa, you can, boleh tak you type semula apa question? I macam tak nampak. Okay. So guys, oh my god. Okay. So tu je untuk question 2 ni. It's very easy and simple if you really understand how to answer it. What's the point that you need to have? Okay. So it's very easy. Okay, kalau soalan nombor 3 ni basically dia nak test your basic knowledge. So I think this question I tak rasa ada masalah sangat pun. Okay, sebab dia just tanya. Wait. Okay, so dia just tanya, experiment set 1 is repeated using weak acid. Okay, kita highlight je. Weak acid of the same concentration, same volume. Okay, tapi disebabkan dia adalah weak acid. Okay, what will happen to the reaction rate of the experiment and explain your answer. Okay, so first kita cakap dulu. Apa yang jadi? Okay, sebab dia tanya what will happen. So kita cakap the rate of reaction will decrease. Okay, so the ROR decrease. Kenapa? Okay, even though same concentration ataupun same volume, tapi disebabkan kalau kita belajar ada weak acid and strong acid, right? Okay, so kita tahu the concentration of hydrogen ion between weak acid and strong acid ni lain. Okay, so kalau daripada you guna strong acid, tiba-tiba you tukar jadi weak acid, of course the rate of reaction akan decrease sebab dia hydrogen ion, the concentration of hydrogen ion. Okay. So the ROR decrease. So after you dah cakap the ROR decrease, you kena explain lah kenapa decrease. Okay. So you cakap sebab, you explain lah weak acid has a lower concentration of hydrogen ion compared to strong acid. Okay, tu je. Okay, so the last mark ni dia suruh suggest the name of a weak acid that could be used. Okay, there are lot of weak acid yang kita belajar, but the most common one is ethanoic acid lah. So you just think simple. Okay, so mana yang you ingat you tulis. Okay, so the weak acid is ethanoic acid. Okay, so you dapat 3 point and 3 marks. Okay. Next. I think this will be the last question or ada satu question lagi. Okay, insyaAllah. Kita tengok mana yang sempat je. Oh, I'm sorry Azim. Okay, tadi tanya kalau you letak frequency of collision tak ada markah sebab okay, bila untuk catalyst dia ada activation energy, right? Bila you letak catalyst tu, you automatically memang akan achieve activation energy. So you memang tak ada frequency of collision, you terus achieve effective collision. Okay, so memang kalau catalyst ada 4 point je. So you tak payah letak frequency of collision. Okay. Okay, so kat sini dia tanya what is meant by alkali. atau cancel terus the whole is. Okay, if you betul, okay, kan ada 5 point you buat. Contoh kalau you tersalah letak untuk catalyst. Okay, so bila you letak frequency of collision, I think cikgu ignore je sebab dia akan tengok the frequency of effective collision. I'm not really sure, tapi kalau boleh you elak lah sebab you dah tahu kan sekarang. Okay, so you jangan buat lah. Okay, so what is meant by alkali? This is very simple. Okay, tapi simple-simple ni pun kalau you tertinggal satu perkataan, terus kosong markah you, okay? Ya, Koko, efektif je. Ya. Okay, so what is meant by alkali? Alkali is a chemical substance. Okay, tapi I rasa I tak tulis lah sebab macam masa dah mencemburi kita. So, alkali ni adalah a chemical substance that ionize in water to produce hydroxide ion. Okay, tu kalau alkali you jangan salah beza, you jangan tertukar dengan acid sebab acid hydrogen ion. So, kalau alkali is hydroxide ion. Okay, kat sini dia suruh kita compare the strength of alkali P and Q. Okay, so kita tengok diagram tadi. Okay, ni dia bagi macam petunjuk kat sini. So, yang ni ion R, yang ni ion ni hydroxide ion. This one. Okay, yang ni pula molecule. This one is ion. Okay. So, you rasa mana yang ionized completely and mana yang ionized partially? So, of course, P kan? Sebab, kenapa I cakap P? Sebab kat sini semua dah tinggal ion. This one is ion also. Tapi dekat solution Q ni still ada molecule. Maksudnya dia still tak ionized completely. Understand? Okay. So, you cakap dekat sini. Compare the strength. So, you just cakap which alkali is stronger. So, you just cakap alkali P is stronger than alright. Okay, so I'm sorry. Alkali P is a strong alkali. Is a weak alkali. Okay, that's why you kena faham the diagrams, the information given supaya you boleh jawab soalan, okay? So next disuruh explain your answer. Why? Sebab based on diagram yang kita tengok, alkali P ni dia ionized completely kan? Okay, like I said tadi. Okay, but alkali Q dia ionized partially. So you just jawab macam tu je. Okay. Ionized completely in water while partially in water. Right. So easy, right? Okay. Bila you faham all the hints, diagrams, so you can answer it. Okay. Chemistry is so easy, right? Wait, I need to Okay, so last kali you can talk about the concentration of hydroxide ion in both, ataupun nak cakap dekat PJ pun boleh, okay? Okay. So, you cakap the concentration of hydroxide ion in is higher. Thank you. Okay. I hope everyone faham. Yeah, easy but I get it. It's okay. First time I jawab game pun tak begitu impressive, okay. But if you usaha, then you boleh. And if you faham the concept and all, okay. Okay, so I think this will be the last question. Okay. Yes, Nur Faika, we need to usaha. Okay, insyaAllah, insyaAllah. Okay, so here I dah highlight kan. Okay, I dah highlight. Okay, so kita baca dulu soalan. Apa-apa pun kita mesti baca soalan. Okay, the following chemical equation represents the reaction when 25 cm cubic of alkali solution P is added to blah 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 blah. Okay, based on information given, kita salin balik. Okay, kita akan salin balik equation ni supaya I akan tunjuk kat you supaya senang sikit. Alright. Here's this one. To ROH. Okay, so tadi Sophie ada explain pasal MRAU kan. Okay, so kita akan guna MRAU tu in this question. Okay, so dia cakap dekat sini 25 cm cubic of alkali solution. So dekat equation ni, mana yang alkali solution? Of course ROH ni kan. Sebab, how do I know? Sebab ada OH. So easy. Okay, OH. So you tulis kat sini, dia ada 25. I guna warna pink ya. So yang ni ada 25 cm cubic. Alright. 25 cm cubic. And then dia cakap is added to 25 cm cubic of 0.5 mole GM cubic sulfuric acid. Tu untuk sulfuric acid. Tu information given for sulfuric acid. Okay, so you tulis. This one ada 25 cm cubic. And also, I'm sorry, I lupa 0.5 mole again. Oh. This is like not number of mole, but it's molarity. Okay, you can bezakan dua tu. Okay, so for now, apa yang you boleh cari? Okay, kita guna MRA kan tadi. MRAU. Okay, ataupun MRA 6 step. Sebab dia ada 6 step for you to get full mark. Okay, it is equation. Okay, equation, dua-dua balance equation je dah dapat 2 markah. Okay, lepas tu kita kena cari number of mole. Okay, kat sini apa yang possible untuk kita cari? Mestilah H2SO4 kan, sulfuric acid sebab dia dah bagi volume and molarity. So apa formula yang kita boleh guna? Okay, macam mana nak bezakan mole dengan molarity? Okay, mole memang unit dia mole sahaja. Molarity ada mole dm cubic. Okay. So now kita guna untuk cari number of mole. Kita tulis, every time you nak cari apa-apa, you tulis you nak apa. Okay, yang ni kita nak cari number of mole of H2SO4. Right, so kita guna yang ni. N equals to MB over 1000. Okay. Okay. So, here. Kejap I'm so sorry kalau I extend sikit masa. If you want to leave, you can leave. Alright. Kita masukkan value yang kita dah dapat tadi. So formularity kita dapat 0.5, right? 0.5 times 25 over 1000. Okay. So you tekan calculator, you will get 0.0125. Okay. More. Alright. Okay, untuk M dah settle. Okay, so now kita akan buat ratio. Macam Sophie ajar tadi, ratio you kena buat like this. Oops. Okay, you kena buat like this. So you tulis apa particles yang ada yang dalam question dengan ROH. Okay, so you tulis ada berapa mole? Okay, so based on equation, you dah boleh tahu lah. So this one is 1 mole. This one ada 2 mole. Okay, right, 2 mole. Okay, so kalau 1 mole dapat 0.0125, kalau 2, kita just darab dengan 2, okay? So kita dah dapat kat sini. Kalau you tekan calculator, kita akan dapat 0.025. Alright. 0.025. Okay, so you dah dapat untuk number of mole untuk the alkali, right? So sekarang dia minta dia suruh kita cari the concentration of alkali P that was used in the reaction. So dia nak cari concentration. Concentration is equal to molarity, okay? So kita dah ada 0.25, right? Kita still guna N equals to mv/1000. Okay, so you, like I said, you tulis dulu you nak cari apa sekarang ni. So kita nak cari concentration of ROH, right? Okay. So you guna N equals to mv/1000 tadi. Yes, jadual tu tak perlu. You just bila you bagi tahu ratio. Kalau you tak nak buat jadual the table pun tak apa. But as long as you tunjuk mole ratio tu, you dapat markah. Kalau tak, tak ada. Okay. So you guna N equals to mv/1000. So tadi you dah dapat apa? Tadi you dah dapat number of mole kan? So you just masukkan. Okay? You masukkan kat sini. Dapat 0.025, right? Sama dengan molarity, you tak tahu. Molarity is what you are trying to find right now. Okay. Sorry. So it will be like this, 25 M. Molarity ni is what you want to find right now. Molarity is equal to concentration. Alright. Over 1000. So you pindah-pindahkan and then you dapat the molarity is 1.0 mole m cubic. Okay. So tu dia punya jawapan. Kalau you nak cakap balik pun tak apa. So you just cakap the concentration of alkali P is 1.0 mole dm cubic. That's the final answer. Okay. So this sempat ke? Do you guys want to end it here or can I proceed with the next question? Sempat. Alright. Okay, I go fast lah. To memorize all the experiments. Taqib, what do you mean by memorize all the experiments? Okay. So kita tengok kat sini. Okay, mula-mula kita highlightkan apa je yang dia bagi kat sini. Okay, right? So dia kata kat sini ada compound P. Okay, compound P dia decompose, dia akan break into black solid Q dengan gas Z. Okay, macam Sophie tunjuk diagram tadi. Kalau black solid is what? Black solid is? Sorry? Yes, correct. So black solid Q ni is copper oxide. Copper to oxide. Kita tulis je terus. CuO. Okay. So gas ni kita tak tahu, compound P pun kita tak tahu. But logically, kalau dia produce black solid Q which is copper to oxide, adakah logik kalau compound P ni is copper to chloride? Tak kan? So apa yang paling logik you guys rasa? So okay, no answer, tak apa. Okay, but the answer is CuCO2. Copper to carbonate. Kenapa? Okay, kita try buat. By the way, bila kita tahu garam tu is garam carbonate, kita memang tahu buat gas yang dia release. Okay, so kalau garam carbonate, gas apa yang dia release? This question is so easy. Okay. Of course, gas yang dia akan release ialah, I'm going fast sebab soalan ni kena agak-agak ke? No, soalan ni, okay, you kena pandai buat equation dia, you kena hafal all the colour of salts. Lepas tu you kena tahu kalau garam ni bila dia react, dia akan release gas apa. Okay, macam carbonate ni, as I said, kalau dia react, yes, okay betul Alisha. Yes, dia akan, kalau garam carbonate, dia memang akan release carbon dioxide gas, okay? Okay, so Z is CO. So, bila you hafal everything here, dia macam easier for you to answer the questions. Sebab question memang akan tanya, what is compound P? What is black solid Q? Alright? Okay, so kita dah boleh jawab kat sini. So, you jawab je. Compound P tadi, Compound P tadi kita dapat copper to carbonate, right? Okay, 1 mark. Okay, black solid Q tadi kita dah cakap copper to oxide, right? Copper to oxide. Tu second mark for you. And then lastly, the gas Z. Gas Z pun kita dah dapat tadi, which is carbon dioxide. So the last mark for you. So you get 3 marks. Basically, you kena hafal the experiment, you kena baca all the experiments, and then you kena tahu gas apa yang dia release. Lepas tu you kena hafal warna salt tu. Okay. Okay, I think that's the end of the lesson. Sebab now it's 10:47 already. So I think semua ni kita orang just jawab based on kertas Kelantan. Okay, so we don't really cover all topics tu pasal chapter 6 and 7. Okay, chapter 6 and 7. So tadi yang as you tengok, Sophia ada juga cover pasal chapter-chapter lain. So kalau you ada apa-apa soalan right now pasal salt and ROR, you can ask us now. Kalau you nak buka mic pun it's okay. Okay, turn on your mic but not to laugh on the mic. Ada question ke Sophie? In the comment section.
Ada satu. Dia kata kenapa ada satu soalan. Kenapa dia pilih COT? Cuba Hasha buat yang equation so that nampak ada balance.
Okay. Dia bukan CO3 dia CO2. Okay. Okay, so you buat
Kalau nampak kat situ, kan ada carbon dioxide, kan ada oxygen tu ada 2. Lepas tu dekat CO tu pun ada 1 oxide. So bila campur 2 tu kira 3. Itu jadi copper carbonate 3. That's how
kalau you buat equation, you betul-betul nampak lah kenapa gas dia carbon dioxide. Okay, boleh?
Ada lagi soalan ke?
Oh, and make sure bila you buat MRA tu, your equation betul. Sebab equation saja you akan dapat 2 markup. Balance I mean. Any other questions before we end the meet? Yang MRA tu apa? MRA tu the method to do the calculation. Kita orang panggil MRA.
Basically M tu macam equation, M2 mole, R2 ratio, A2 answer. Lepas tu kita orang recently added this out which is MRU. So U2 unit.
Sebab final answer you wajib ada unit. Kalau tak markup.
So kalau korang nak ingat steps dia, baik buat MRU. Just ingat MRU. So bila exam tu senang.
Yes. So MRU ada 6.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'm sorry kalau Azal ada sangat sebab I think kita kejar masa.
Berpengalaman apa? Sorry. Lagi soalan ke?
I guess macam tak ada. Okay.
Thank you everyone.
So kalau you tak faham, kalau you confuse apa-apa buat kelas hari ni ataupun memang
You tak tahu apa-apa
pasal chemistry, you boleh PM I dengan Sophie dekat Telegram.
Okay. So nanti kita akan hantar jawapan-jawapannya dalam file dekat dalam Telegram. Okay?
Yes.
So kalau you nak PM kita orang, I bagi Telegram punya username. So you can just search my username. Kalau nak tanya apa-apa soalan, alright? Thank you everyone
for listening.
Thank you semua.
Okay.
Tengok.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, so before we end our class, kita baca doa dulu lah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma inna nastaudi'uka ilma ma 'allamtana fardudu ilaina inda hajatina wa la tunsina ilahi ya rabbal alamin. Amin. So terima kasih semua. So kita tidurlah. Right, so itu saja. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.